Hey guys, how you guys doing? Welcome back to the channel. So, as you guys know, I have quite a few people that follow the channel. I have 639 subscribers today, and a few of those subscribers are actually software developers as well as distribution developers. And I feel honored and humbled that they are following my channels, and one of them reached out to me, and it's a pretty big distribution that's out there that a lot of people know. And he asked me to do a review of their latest and greatest spin of their distribution. They created a new desktop, well, they didn't create a new desktop environment, but they added a new desktop environment to be able to be downloaded for you guys. And so we're going to take a look at that today. Well, so I got a direct message from Tech Xero over at Xero Links, and he asked me to do a review of their latest and greatest, which is their Xero Linux Gnome Edition. That's right. They have created a Gnome Edition. For years, Xero Linux has been known as KDE only, but they seem to have maybe switched up a little bit and went for the other Titan desktop in the industry, and that is Gnome. So they created this distribution. What I will tell you is the requirements are your standard run of the mill. You need to have an either Core i5 or AMD equivalent CPU and up. It requires 8 gigs of RAM, and it also requires you to have a 16 gigs of storage. Anything more than that, you should be okay. So on some of your older hardware, if you don't have 8 gigs of RAM, you're going to be out of luck. So that is something to pay attention to. That's the only buggy boo that's in there as far as older equipment is concerned. It's actually, and you can find out this on their forum, their Linux forums. I will put a link in the description as to what the requirements are on it, and also how to download it. Because the other buggy boo in it is that for the moment, since he took so much time to develop it, it requires you to support them. It's only downloadable from either their Patreon page or their fundraiser, I believe is what it's called. Anyhow, you'll see it when you go to the donate button on Xero Linux website to get it. But that's how I got it. I became a Patreon of theirs to download it. Let's go ahead and take a look at their forum. And here's where I'm at. As you can see, here's the link, but it'll be in the description. Xero, if for whatever reason Xero Hello doesn't start on the ISO, you can just log out and back in with no password, and it should start right up. These are install notes that they're given here. For the AUR helper, it uses the Yay AUR, but if you want to install Peru, you could always install Peru. Before installing, they humbly request you do your own research as far as hardware support goes. I cannot help nor fix issues with hardware that he doesn't own. I can barely keep my own in a stable state, LOL. The latest versions of Calamaris is installed, Firefox, which is 107.01, the Linux kernel, which is 6.12, Mesa 22.2, the XeroG is going to be at 21.1, Gnome 43.2, Mutter 43.2, and Grub is 2.2. Also, they excluded extensions and extra apps as well. The extensions that they included were Arc Menu, GS Connect, Blur My Shell, Dash to Dock, Cover Flow Alt Tab, Clipboard Indicator, Gesture Improvements, Arch Linux Updates Indicator. And the extra apps were Gradients, GDM Settings, Gnome Tweaks, and Extension Manager. That is how they were able to heavily customize it. It uses the Gnome Software Center. Time around, we decided to include Gnome software instead of the regular Pac-Man GUI, simply because we felt closer to vanilla Gnome, the better for all of you Gnome fans. plus no more key or database issues. Just keep in mind that by using Gnome software, you won't have access to package content details like you did in PAMAC GUI. Also, you might notice slightly high CPU usage due to the package Git that comes with it on slower systems. Well, that's the nature of the beast, really. Can't do anything about it. So, yes, you are getting the original vanilla GNOME experience with the GNOME software installed. There is yet another caveat with using GNOME software. It doesn't support the AUR, unfortunately. You will have to use PackSeek in order to do that, which is another TUI that they've got installed, which is very beautiful. To me, PackSeek is the equivalent of Nala to Arch. It's a very beautiful, very organized graphical TUI, a terminal user interface for doing your packages, installing your packages. If you have issues here for general fixes, say you have in GNOME, there's a command that will undo all Xero specific tweaks. So if you want to do just vanilla GNOME or something like that, you can do this command right here, which is this dconf reset. There's also included a little script that will restore the Xero ISO defaults. So if you do something and it borks out your install here, you can just type the xdconf in there, and it should run that script and revert it right back to its original out of the box state. They also included a nice little script for Samba fix, and it's simply SMB fix. So that's a command you could run for that. Once again, if you forget these or you missed them, you can find them on their forum page. So maybe you can't go to their Patreon and do their support or what have you for whatever reason, but you still want to get the Xero Linux GNOME edition. Well, what you could always do is you can go to their GitHub, which I'll put the link in the description, and you can build it yourself. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Here it is. It is in their GitHub repo for XeroG ISO, Xero_G_ISO. It's for Xero Linux. And if you notice the Xero Linux G ISO repo, okay, it's right here. You must be using an Arch-based distribution in order to build the ISO, which are, like Manjaro, CachyOS, Chaos, Artix, etc., etc. However, they also have a video here to explain to you how to do it, but they also have the 3 steps that you need down below. What I will point out, as it says right here in their instructions, you need to use the ABS building tool, which is in the repo. Yes, this command right here will install the repo. This command will let you edit the Pacman comp. Okay, this is what you put into your Pacman comp. And then this right here, once you edit your Pacman comp, then this is what you type in the terminal to get the ABS tool. Then you build the tool. You got to have Git installed, so you make sure you install Git, and then you Git and clone the repo, and then you do the ABS tool to build XeroG. Okay, so you can use either the ABS XeroG or the ABS -XG, whichever one, and then you can burn it to your ISO, or burn your ISO to a USB and install it and go, and you can enjoy Xero Linux as I am right now, the GNOME edition. So let's go ahead. Now we got the housekeeping part out of the way. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. As you can see, typical Xero Linux wallpapers. We look here and we go to the backgrounds. This is their theme manager, so you can let's make this bigger. And here are some wallpapers that you can choose from right here that they have. So I like the current one that's out of the box, although the 2023 one looks pretty nice. Actually, this one looks pretty good too. And so let's go ahead and close that. Let's minimize and see. Yeah, that one I like. I'll leave it there. That's pretty cool. And they've got the overall dark theme already set out of the box default. So, and of course, that's your standard settings manager. That is a pretty doggone sick background right there. But either way, so you have your standard Xero Linux like toolbar at the top, or panel at the top. For the KDE version, very similar to that. And then you have their dock at the bottom that they've added in with Gnome, with the extensions. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So when we click on this, your launcher here, usually you get activities, which opens up to your activities, and you got your dock at the bottom where you can select your panels, but no, it's gone to this. This is what they have. I love this theme that they've got going on here. These icon sets are pretty awesome. I know they're using Tila in the dock, but these icons here are, for their global system, is pretty awesome. Under frequent apps, obviously, you got all these apps right here. For all apps, of course, that's going to give you all of them categorized, alphabetized, and set to go. If you go down to Xero Links here, you got the Xero Links Hello. Sorry. You got the, dang it, stop it. Xero Links Hello 2 times. I wonder why they got it twice in there, but either way, it's got that. So, oops, sorry. So, under accessories, extensions, manager and extensions, they got Gnome files. They've got Flat Seal, which is nice because that means that they've enabled Flatpak in their in the software center, which, by the way, it does use the Gnome software center. It just does not have support for the AUR, which is they installed Yay with. So to do that, or if you want, you can install Peru. They've got the font manager as well. Gedit is their plain text editor. They've got gestures. They've got Kavunta manager, PackSeek in here, which is a TUI for Pac-Man, which is very nice. It kind of reminds me, it's similar to Nala for Pac-Man, which is kind of cool. Then they have the weather app here. Let's go ahead and open that up. And it's got me set to the Boeing field. Actually, it was set to Beirut, Lebanon, but I changed it to Boeing field to get my local thing when I first opened it up and just kind of cruise, make sure everything was working right. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful weather app. No, I've always liked their weather app. The system monitor, let's go ahead and open that up. This is a graphical user interface for HTOP, although to me, it doesn't always seem to be as accurate as HTOP, but in this situation, I'm using 2 gigs of RAM, and I'm using quite a bit of my CPUs at the moment. I wonder if it was because of whatever that happened with that little bug, or because this app's open. So let me go ahead and close that. So the system monitor, they got the fingerprint GUI, which is very nice. So if you're a laptop, which that makes sense with them because a lot of their distributions are used on high-end laptops, which have the fingerprint scanners and stuff. So it makes sense that they would have this in there. I do not have one installed on my systems. They've got the HP device manager. So I mean, they've got all kinds of cool stuff. They got maps installed. PackSeek, which is like Nala for the Pac-Man. They've got Piper installed, and of course, we looked at the weather app. So under games, they have Mines. Under graphics, they have their image viewer and photos, which I believe image viewer is probably Eye of Gnome. Let's see. Yeah, I believe it's Eye of Gnome. I'm not sure, but it may not be. It may be another one that they have. But either way, most of your Gnome distributions come with Eye of Gnome. But anyhow, so they have image viewer in there and photos. Photos we'll take a look at. About photos. It's version 43. So either way, there you go. They have 2 photo viewers as well. Under internet, they have Firefox and Geary. They have both the VNC and the SSH version of Avahi. For Office, they have Calendar and Contacts, Programming. They have Accessizer. They have CMake. They got GDA Browser, which is a tool for managing your SQL databases, which is kind of cool. Where am I? Sorry, under Office Programming. They have Icon Browser. They have IPython, they've got Meld, they've got the Qt suite for you doing Qt programs and sysproof. For sound and video, they have Gnome Player, which is Totem, or Gnome M Player. Music, they have podcasts available. They have the utilities that works with Cheese to be able to use your webcam, which is what the Qt VL4 is for, and videos. For system tools, they have Dconf Editor. They have Jeparted in there. They have HTOP's inside it. or installed. And for HTOP, which is the TUI version, you're looking for my memory. I'm using 1.5 gigs. So that'd be interesting. Hang on a second. Let's go back here and let's open up the system monitor. Where is it? Was it under accessory? Under accessory. Put on the. I'm going to open that up side by side. And as you can see, this says that I'm using 1.57 gigs, and it still says I'm using 2 gigs in my system monitor. As I said, it seems to me that the system monitor is never as accurate as HTOP. So I don't know why it is, other than one, I guess maybe rely. But either way, HTOP would be a lot more if it was the graphical user interface that the GUI that system monitor uses. So I'm not sure why the difference is, but it is. So I don't ever really go by the system monitor as much as I go by HTOP or even NeoFetch will show you a little bit more accuracy than the system monitor, or BTOP as well. BTOP's another one out there. So there's that in programming or in the system tools. For system tools, they have the Gparted, which I'm surprised they don't have GNOME disks installed. Is that what this is on the dock? Yeah, we'll take a look at it. They got Gparted installed. I would have thought they had GNOME disks installed, but they use Gparted, and then there's GRSync right here. So there's that, and then they have HTOP, which we looked at. Multi-writer for writing your USBs, your bootable USBs, network tools, and then they got the software center, which we're going to open up and take a look at it. It's got your standard GNOME software center. It's got the only difference is it doesn't support the AUR. So there's that. And then, of course, here's, like categorize, for games and stuff. Now, if we go into here and we look at the software repositories, it does have FlatHub already enabled and installed. So it's ready to go. It's also got the Xero Linux repos in here, so you can get their exclusive apps that are designed for this and programs that are designed for this, as well as the NVIDIA repo for their graphical drivers that they've set up for their distributions. You can check and see what's installed. As you can see by your standard, just GNOME software, as with any other distribution, app functions the same. And here's where you can get updates. So it says I'm up to date because I ran the updater before I got into it. I want to make sure I was running the latest and greatest for this. So there's all of that in the system tools. Under universal access, it's got the accessorizer. Under utilities, you've got, this is where you'll find all your backup stuff, like your backups, advanced network configurations, your archive managers, calculators. Nice. They got a dictionary installed. Oh, they do have GNOME disks here. I believe, yes, this is GNOME disk. So they've got Gparted and GNOME disks. I thought that was a GNOME disk icon on the dock down there. So yeah, they've got GNOME disks installed. They got your logs, they got your PDF, your document viewer right here, which is your PDF viewer. They've got their system logs here, screenshot tool, of course, system monitor. They got terminal, which is GNOME terminal, I'm sure. The GNOME tweaks, which we can open that up. It's your standard look on tweaks. Appearance, here's where they've themed it out with all their Xero Linux stuff. So for startup applications, they've got Xero Linux Hello set to start up. So if you want to remove that after you've installed it, just click here to remove it, and it won't do that again. Also, your startup, for the top bar, you can put in your calendar, your date, and your clock here to enable stuff. So Windows title bars, you can obviously decorate those, and your windows, you can decorate them as well. So that's a little brief view at GNOME tweaks. And so, and they've got your usage. If you click on that, it gives you your processor stuff, your performance, and your storage. as well, which is a nice little tool for Gnome that comes with it. And then under other, we have your time and date, your fingerprint GUI, which we've already looked at, the GDA control center. This is where you can manage your SQL data, any databases that you have on your server or your computer. Then you got network, you got your login settings manager here, so you can do fonts, you can do top bar, appearance, you can theme it, you can do whatever you want with it. So your login screen, click on that, you can add different things to it and enable different things with it. So I mean, it's kind of cool. That's the thing about a lot of your Arch distributions. A lot of these distributions, it's all about eye candy, which is not a bad thing at all. It just personalizes it for you. So you got Qt5s, you got your regular settings manager, you got your time and date, and your user and groups where you can add users. So it is a very nicely loaded distribution with all the things that you need in it to set it up and customize it any more than what it is to your tailored needs. Over here is your Arch Linux updater, which is where your updater notification, which takes you right to, as you can see, Gnome software. If you go to settings, this is where you could adjust different things in it. So, and there's some advanced settings as well, which you can actually adjust the directories and the config files with. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. And of course, you got your clipboard. Sorry, that was your clip man. It's your clipboard. You search for it. And then here is your hidden notifications, as well as your other like settings. Right here is your settings icon toggle for your actual just settings. You click on it, it takes you right to your Gnome settings, as we looked at before. And then you have your screenshot tool. You can lock your screen, which it's actually a quite beautiful lock screen that they've implemented right here. They've themed it very nicely. I mean, they've just themed it. It's just a typical Gnome lock screen, but it's themed very nicely. It's beautiful. Of course, you got your power session here where you can log in and out. And then also you have your type of connection that you have. You can switch to night light on. You can switch from dark mode or turn it off, which I turn it back on. And then you have GS Connect, which is your Gnome device, or your Gnome Connect, like KDE Connect, where you can connect your devices to your Gnome desktop. So there's that. Then, of course, on the dock down below, they have their Gnome File Manager, which is Gnome Files, already installed. Very nicely. They got Firefox down here. They've got your Gnome Tweaks extent here, your extensions, which we've looked at already, but here you go. They've got the weather app, which we've looked at as well, which I launched again to show you. Here we go. Then they have the Flat Seal. Now, Flat Seal, you open it up, and if you have any flat packs installed, they will be over here on the left-hand panel. And all you do is you click on it. And of course, in the right-hand panel, it's going to give you any details or also anything that you can do with it. Like you want to launch it, you want to adjust some settings in it, whatever you want to do, boom, it'll be there. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of like App Image Launcher for app images. Snap doesn't, I don't think, have an application like this. It's a helper form. Then you've got your Gnome Terminal that opens up. Oh, wait, this is Alacrity. And look at this. They actually have NeoFetch installed. That is awesome. No, it's a Gnome Terminal. Wow. This is Gnome Terminal, not Alacrity. Yep, it's just themed with a nice transparent view. Beautiful. That's probably part of the Gnome tweaks. Under preferences, general. Yeah, this is very beautiful. They created a Xero Linux profile. That's what it's got in it. That's cool. Yeah, this is very, 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 very nice. So that's that. Then you have your extensions manager, which is here, where you can browse for extensions if you want to, type things in and browse them. You can do that. Then you can implement them as well. So it's kind of cool. Then, of course, I got Gnome Disk, which you looked at. You got your settings, and then we got PackSeek here, which we looked at. And then, like I said, you open it up. See, it looks just like Terminal. What you do, put the name of whatever it is that you're looking in here. You highlight it down here, and it will run. Heck, I got 5. We're going to enter. We're going to put in our password. And yes, we're going to hit enter. And there we go. It's installing Kdenlive. And it's doing what it's doing. So anyhow, there's your packseek. It looks just like that. So, and of course you got your hello, your Xero Linux hello, which is very nice because you can update your system here. It's got a couple of other things where if you need to install any non-proprietary driver or proprietary drivers, you can install them here. You could also switch from GDM or whatever it is to SSD or a light DM here, whichever one is there. If you've got an Asus ROG Optimus, Discord, you can go here, and also their tools right here. So, I mean, they've got, like I said, that's a pretty high-end gaming laptop. So, this little welcome window is pretty awesome. Get familiarized with that if you haven't experienced it yet. So, anyhow, that is a look at Xero Linux Gnome Edition. It is a fantastic distribution. It's, as one would expect, it is absolutely on par for what Xero Linux is. I mean, they theme things out 100% in detail. They don't spare any expense when they're setting up their distributions. Anyhow, you guys stay blessed. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. Have a great day, and you guys keep on Linuxing and stay safe, guys. Yeah, Xero Linux, always top notch. Always top notch.